50 years.
Okay, we're back from our commercial break. Now getting back to the Dirty Dozen U.S. Marshals matchup. So it's 2-0 now in the fourth. And Albert Levy steps to the plate.
Right.
Why don't you tell us?
Albert Levy steps to the plate. I actually made out with the bases loaded before he got up. It was 1 out.
He popped up, I think.
Was Dash up? No, I was up after Dash.
So
right, so I don't remember what Dash did before me. I
Pop up.
Yeah, I popped up.
Yeah.
I popped up
loaded.
on the first pitch from Moses.
Wow.
I popped up with the bases loaded, and then Albert Levy stepped to the plate. And I'm like, come on, you know, you want the other next guy to like save you type of thing.
Of course.
And there's like, the weight of the world is on you, and thank God he got a big hit. So he got a hit that tied it at 2. And that's the way it was after that inning. I don't recall if it was up after him, but it ended up tied at 2 at that point. And then Saban, 2 innings later, got a 2-run scoring hit also.
Yeah, to right center.
To right center, that in the gap between right and center, put him up 4-2. So Allie had given up 2 early runs in that game in the second or third inning. Didn't give up a run the rest of that game. Actually, didn't give up a run the rest of the day. In 8 innings, we're going to get to the next game, but 13 straight shutout innings. And they only reached third base 1 other time after Eddie Michon was thrown out at, coming home. They didn't even get to third. Yeah. Just once in the next 13 innings. So they went like 15 for 55. We were just looking at the book. They hit like 260 or something as a team.
Yeah, the top of the order did nothing.
They did nothing. And Allie was great. To talk about Allie for a couple of minutes, a minute or two, whatever. But he was awesome. And I've never, like I said, never caught anybody. But the thing that was amazing about Allie is that whenever he needed to throw a strike, let's say it was 2-0 for some reason, and he knew that the hitter was taking, he always threw the strike. And when he was like 2-2 or 1-2, if he was ever ahead in the count, his strikes were hitting corners. There was never a pitch that someone at 1-2 could take and maybe get called out. And if it was close enough and they swung, they couldn't do anything with the ball.
Yeah,
they were just on all the corners.
The fastball was on the.
It was like unbelievable.
But there was an interesting play that happened. I want to talk about. Moses Eastman batted for the first time all year yesterday, and he came up to the plate, and I don't think I've ever seen this since Colt Field in the early days, where the coach Eddie Michon instructed him not to take the bat off his shoulders.
Yeah.
But we should say the situation, so it's up to debate. A lot of people
it was.
were.
I think it was 1 out, or it was definitely less than 2 outs.
No, it was 1 out, first and second.
There was man on first only.
It was first. No, it was first and second. It was first and second.
Okay.
It was a tie game.
Right. Whatever it was, it definitely wasn't a man on third, where a sac fly would bring in a run. So.
What inning was it?
It was like probably the 5th. It was still tied 2-2.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't early because we didn't know he was batting the first time he got up.
So
it
it
was
was
later
2-2
than
in the
that.
5th. It was.
And Eddie was just afraid of a double play. If Moses hits the ball anywhere in the infield on the ground, it's pretty easy to double him up. So he instructed Moses, he called him over and he said, you can't swing the bat at all. So obviously I looked at Allie, we knew what was up, and Allie just laid in, 3 little lobs in a row. Funny if they could have had like a side plan to like say that and really not do that.
Right.
Moses maybe would have gotten a hit because Allie was just like putting it over, but he just stood there and they were like right down the middle and he was out on 3 strikes.
Yeah, it was. I've never seen anything like that.
Wow, it's. I know we all want to win, and we're all very competitive, but I personally think that is a despicable action by Eddie Michon. I don't agree with that at all. We're all here to have fun. To tell a grown man that's coming and working his butt off and pitching 2 full games when he bats 1 game a year, to tell him, no, you can't swing the bat, that's not right. That's not what softball is about. This is not rocket science. I've played with Moses before. He's batted a couple of times and he has gotten a couple of hits. He's not incapable
And it's not
of
like
getting a
the
hit.
rest of the team wasn't ripping the
He's
cover.
not, I mean, he's saying Allie pitched good. He's not Sandy Koufax either.
Right.
It's softball underhand pitching.
Right.
You can't tell someone, no, you're not allowed to hit. I know he doesn't want the double play, but obviously they didn't score anyway, so his strategy didn't work well anyway.
Right.
And you're just giving it out, and you're making the guy stand in the batter's box with his bat on the shoulder.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. If somebody told me to do that, if the ball was on the dirt, I would golf
Over
swing,
the fence.
and if the ball was over the backstop, I would go like that. You can't tell somebody, no, you can't swing the bat. Maybe wait for one, be selective.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's not
Only
right.
if you love it, you know, something like that.
Exactly. But I would not want to play on that Eddie Michon team. I wouldn't want to play with him if I know he's going to go and tell somebody you can't swing the bat in a certain situation.
Yeah. So.
You know?
That's Eddie Michon, I think.
Yeah.
Giving him a piece of his mind, but yeah, I mean that was it was the strangest thing I've ever seen. One of the strangest.
How'd Moses react, by the way?
He was
He felt
devastated.
bad.
He was
It's
walking
just
around ejected like this.
You don't know the feeling, but you know. And I was just catching, and the balls are just like
Yeah, I mean he could have had 3 meatballs down the pipe. That was.
there were 3 meatballs down there. That's the way.
He could have swung with one hand and hit it 400 feet. That's how.
Oh my God.
So I mean I don't know if he would have got the first base if he hit 400 feet, but still it's. That's another story for another day. But anyway, that was the end of game 1. So they held on for the 4-2 victory, and the second game. I mean, do you think the first game was a classic pitcher's duel? The second game was one of the best playoff games in YMSL history in many years.
Yeah, it was 0-0 going into the 8th. So just to tell you how, we mentioned 15 for 55 was Eddie Michon's team. Besides for Hakeem and Solomon, who were both 3 for 6, the rest of the U.S. Marshals were only 7 for 40. Ali was 0 for 5, he into a double play. David Bracca was maybe 1 for 6, he into a double play.
Wow.
There were a lot of double plays everywhere. The defense was awesome.
Yeah.
Ali was doubled up. He had walked and then was doubled up trying to tag to second on a fly ball to Joe Zaccaria.
Yeah.
Where A.B. Dweck made like a great scoop and tagged him out. So everybody was making plays. And
I got to tell you, it was first and second one play, and Ali was up. And he hit a shot to Solital. I don't know how the hell he got his glove on that.
no.
And he said, Ali says one of the hardest balls he ever hit.
He ripped it
He
to
ripped
third.
it a one hopper.
Yeah.
He fielded it and threw the second, got the force. They didn't score that inning.
Right.
But, I mean, both teams, David Azer made great plays at short. The outfield, Joe Zaccaria played.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the whole...
And Jackie Towell, he made plays in the gap. He gets the best beat of any center fielder.
Yeah, he
I've ever
made
seen.
great plays. Balls that you thought were going to find gaps, he's just running over and catching them.
And both, both pitches were really cruising. It was ended after 7 innings of a scoreless tie, and we'll get to the top of the 8th because it started off. David Harari led off.
So David Harari leads off, and he's a lefty.
Yeah.
So he's really known for pulling the ball, to right field. Hopefully that he's trying to get it over Joe Zaccaria, and he hits a ball to the opposite field line with power for a triple, a leadoff triple. Dash is getting up next.
I think Dash was walked intentionally, I believe.
No, it was Dash and it was Albert Levy with the next 2 batters, and Dash grounds out to.
I thought it was A.B. Cohen who was on deck, and
A.B. was walked.
He was walked intentionally.
Okay. So Dash hits a ground ball.
The third.
Doesn't get the run in.
Yeah, so they got the
Yeah,
force.
get the force. But actually, A.B. Cohen ended up scoring from first. I think Dash and Albert Levy were the next 2 batters. Then they walked A.B. Cohen.
Dash was next. He got out.
Oh, he got out with running on third.
Yeah. Dash got out with running on third.
To first.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
A.B. was
Then
next.
A.B.
Also, they
Cohen
walked
came up.
A.B. Cohen after that. Then Adam Marshall was up.
Then Albert Levy.
Then Albert Levy was up and he popped out.
Oh, so there was 2 outs when Adam Marshall was up.
So Dash had made out. He didn't bring the run in. Albert Levy made out. He popped up. He didn't bring the run in. So they walked. So A.B. Cohen was walked somewhere along the way, and he was on first.
Yeah,
So it was first and third with 2 outs now, and Adam Marshall is up, and he hits this little bloop over second. Joe Zaccaria was really shallow, and he dove and he still couldn't get the ball. And A.B. Cohen scored from first. So David Harari scored from third. A.B. Cohen scored from first. Joe Zaccaria is like bleeding through his knee socks, trying to off the dive. And Ali just shut him down the last inning, and that was the final.
Yeah, it was
2-0,
2-0. But we should mention now the bottom of the 8th. Joe Zaccaria leads off, hits a smoking line drive to right center. With A.B. Jeff Cohen made an unbelievable diving play to make the catch and get the first out. Otherwise, it would have been a leadoff double because the next batter got an infield hit and got the second. So it would have been a whole different game.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they held on for the victory, and you know, it was an incredible series. And listen, congratulations to U.S. Marshals. They go on to the next round, and a lot of people are scared of that team.